What up, what up, what up, what up? It's me, L Teddy 27.
What's good tonight? Right about the hood.
Oh, dear God, I'm already eating a drink.
Look a damn mess. Just a damn mess. No means no, and yes means no.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's good, people? What is up? What's up, what's up, what's up? It is me, L Teddy 27. I'm back for another review. This is going to be our review for Greenleaf, Season 5, Episode 8. It is entitled Behold, and this is the series finale. Now, I feel like this is the first series finale review that I have done. I did the series finale for Noah's Ark, but that was a retro review, so that doesn't count. But I feel like this is my first one, so let's see how this goes. I'm breaking my virginity today. Anyway, what's up, y'all? Let's talk about it. I know there's a lot to be said, and I have a lot of commentary as well, and we'll go from there. All right. So we start off with May. May is still in bed with the bishop, who's now dead. And she kisses him. She puts the ring on, and May has lost a lot. May lost a daughter. May lost a brother. May lost her daddy. Now May done lost. She lost her little boyfriend who she cheated with her husband on, and now she done lost her husband. So May done had a lot of losses in this series. I will say that about May. I mean, she's been a beacon of strength and through this all, but May has lost a lot. Grace is in there talking to Sophia about these good pictures, the teddy pictures. Sophia is kind of brushing it off, and Sophia is like, listen, it ain't what it is, da 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 da. She trying to brush it off. Grace gets a phone call from this lady who had offered her a job with 2020 some years ago, but she has this new show, and she needs women of color, and she wants Grace. She heard about Grace and how she was instrumental in the whole Bob Whitmore thing, and she wants Grace for this show. So she says, it's in New York, are you willing to move? And she was like, yeah, I don't have anything holding me back. I'm willing to move. And as she's saying that, May comes up looking, just like death. And Grace is like, I got to call you back. And she's like, well, I need you to let me know ASAP because I got to move on this now. May comes, and I guess May tells Grace, you don't hear her say it, but the next thing we see, we cut away and the whole family is around the bishop's dead body laid in that bed, the entirety of the family. Then we got to the scene where they were burying the bishop. Now, there's good and bad in this. Let's talk about the good at first. The good in this scene in the burying of the bishop is it showed cyclical writing. They gave you the full circle. The first episode we saw of Greenleaf had this same type of burial when they were burying Faith. And now we come full circle back to the series. So the series premiere, we had a burial when they were burying Faith. And then in the series finale, we got another burial when we're burying the bishop on the Greenleaf Estates. So that's one thing. But I felt robbed. Like, this show is a show that celebrates the Black church. It celebrates Black families. It celebrates Black culture. You can't talk about someone dying in Black culture in a Black church, a bishop of this magnitude with this size church, without giving me the funeral scene. That's a part of church. That's a part of who you are, who we are as a people. You have to give us that. I was so looking forward to this funeral, and I felt robbed. I felt you missed the mark on that. That's one area where the writers and the show missed the mark. I felt like, yes, you should have given us that burial scene, yes, for the cyclical writing, so that should have been kept in there. But we were owed the funeral. It's that finality, it's that closure that you need. It celebrates the Black church. It celebrates the Black family and the link between the Black family and the church, even in death. And robbing us of that and robbing the viewing public of that, I think they missed the mark on that. I really wanted to see this funeral. I was kind of upset about that. I ain't gonna lie though. I don't really care for Deborah Joy Winans' voice. I don't really care for her voice. I don't really care for her singing like that. But baby, She almost took me out when she was saying it, baby. Ooh, child, she almost took me out in the beginning. But I still felt robbed. Anyway, then they sit down and they have dinner. They all sit down and have dinner. I was glad to see that the guy, the bishop's best friend, was there. They had the whole family there. It was just a family. It was no parishioners, nobody else. It was just a family, and that guy who was bishop's best friend, he was there. So they have the moment where they sit down and get ready to eat and then celebrating the life of the bishop. May gets a phone call. She gets a phone call from one of the deaconesses from the deacon board, and baby, they done fired Connie. They are they basically are no longer under H&H, and like they got rid of H&H or severed ties with them, and they want Lady May to preach at the next Sunday's service where they're going to do like a memorial for the bishop. That's just not plausible. I'm talking about the memorial part. You could, I mean, well, maybe they just chose not to show at the funeral, but I'm going back to the funeral thing again. A church of that magnitude is not going to have the bishop who founded that church pass away and not have this huge funeral. They ain't just going to have no memorial. Trust and believe. Baby, they're going to have week-long funerals where they going to have a different pastor, a different big mega pastor preach every day of that week leading up to the final day of the funeral. I'm just telling you what I know. But I'm going to give them that. Also, the whole H&H severing ties, it seems a bit clunky in the writing there. Only because with the contracts that they probably had with H&H and everything that was going on with H&H and Calvary, I don't know that, okay, one day we would H&H. Even with all of the stuff that Bob Whitmore had on, the next day we don't sever ties and it's just a clean cut and everything is okay. It doesn't work like that. Because even if Bob Whitmore is in trouble, H&H still has an organization behind it, and there's a lot of legalities that go along with that. So that just seemed real clunky, and like they were just trying to speed that along. And the fact that they got rid of Connie nilly-willy that fast too, I think that we were owed the whole firing Connie scene, because Connie for a few seasons was a whole thorn in our side, and to get rid of her just nilly-willy, just let her just go on into the sunset and we not see her, I think they missed the mark on that. And I understand that they had to rush to the ending, but because of COVID, but yeah, there were moments that I felt like we missed, and they could have had some of these moments leading up to the finale. Grace goes over to see AJ's new house, not AJ and Noah's new house. Noah got a new job. He's gonna be like the campus director for some school or something. I don't know. Noah got a new job. AJ's health is improving with his HIV, and AJ also is opening up to Grace. He's wanting to build a relationship with Grace, which I like. And I told you, I really see it for AJ. The more we come in contact with his character, the more we see of his character, the more I like his character. I've been saying that for a couple episodes now. Jacob and Carissa talk. So that kind of closed that whole thing. Noah said, I'm going to, you can stay here if you want. Grace was like, well, I don't know. I might be taking a job in New York. I don't know. We'll see. And they kind of left that open. Jacob and Carissa talk. Carissa wants Winky to stay over there for a few days in the light of the bishop dying while she goes and finds her a place to stay. She says she's staying with whatever the name of the school is. I can't think of the name of the school that she's never at. Lord. But anyway, she's going to stay in the area because she feel like Winky still needs to be close to his dad. Jacob says, where you going to stay? She said, well, I'm going to be staying at a, because I guess her mom stays out of town. But she says, I'm going to be staying at a hotel. He was like, oh, you can stay here. She was like, honey, I don't want you to get confused. I don't want Winky to get confused. We need no confusion. No confusion. And she was like, I don't know if you realize it, but this is our happy ending. There's no going back. This is our happy ending. And they left that at that. That was kind of, I didn't like that, the way they ended that either. It was kind of lazy with the writing there. And I know a lot of people are going to pick up my reviews, and a lot of people are getting caught up in the whole, sappy, Bishop did, all of that. But if you really take a critical eye to the finale, there were a lot of missed moments. There was a lot of clunky and erratic writing. There was a lot of jagged edges left for us to digest and swallow. And this was one of those storylines. They just try to end it so fast. And I understand we've already had the climax of the series, and generally in writing, once you have the climax, the falling action, denouement, and resolution happens really, really quickly. But it just seems real lazy and clunky at times. Zora, AJ, and Sophia are discussing death and what happens when you die. And I like when AJ said, I want to know what happens when you die. I want to find out what happens when you live. Because it looks like AJ has a new lot in life, lot on life. And I told y'all, I really, really am enjoying AJ the more and more I see him and the more and more we hear from him. Darius and Grace are together at Darius' house. He tells her, she tells him about the job she was offered and everything. And he was like, listen, I ain't got no job right now, and I'd be willing to move out to New York and look for jobs up there if it meant that there could be a few kids. And they were like, you know what, let's see. And Darius tells her, listen, you need to take this, because Grace was like, well, my family needs me. I don't know if I need to go right now. And Darius was like, nah, you need to go. Your father's, dead, but you need to call this lady back and let her know you're going to take the job. You need this. So then May talks to the kids, to her kids, and she talks to them about the conversation she had with the deaconess and the fact that they want her to preach. And she wants, at the memorial, she wants everybody at the memorial on the United Front. All the while, Grace's phone is ringing, and it's that lady. And so Grace is ignoring the lady's phone call. And her mom's, and May says, are you in this with us, Grace? And she's like, yeah, I'll be there. I'm in it. So it appears that Grace is going to try and stick around a little bit longer. May then goes to Calvary, and Corinne is there to greet her. She shows her, starts telling her about some of the things that she has set up and everything for her. She takes her to the bishop's office, and she said, I set up some things in here for you. And she's trying to talk to her. Maybe like, give me a moment, boo. Give me a moment. Let me take this all in. Because, her husband has died, and this is his office, and that office is synonymous. See, the house is synonymous with May. Okay, when you think of the Greenleaf Estates and house, you think May. But when you go to that church and you see that office with that big cross in the backdrop, you think the bishop. So this is the room that personifies the bishop. And when May went in there, I guess she succumbed a little bit to the gravity of everything that was going on. So she told Corinne, give me a moment, because she had to take that all in. Jacob then goes down to Terrace Church, and they're talking and so forth. At first, I really thought, because they were still talking, Jacob was saying that May was still going to give her the house. I thought broke-ass Jacob was trying to get in good with Tara, because they seem to be flirting a little bit. They seem to be real flirty. But I thought he was trying to get in with Tara because his broke-ass needed somewhere to stay. So he was going to pop her cooch and then have him somewhere to stay on the Greenleaf Estates, or what was the Greenleaf Estates if they gave it to Tara. I'm just saying, that's where my mind went, y'all. See what you want. Anyway, but then he talks to her, and he tells her that, his mom still planned on giving her the house, but they needed a few months in order to, get everything in order and have everything set up. So Tara then goes on and said, listen, after everything, your dad died, everything, Rochelle, she's okay. I just don't have it in me no more to do that fighting no more. So you know what? It's okay. Y'all can keep the house. It's not that serious for me. What God has for me, it is for me. Shouts out to Miami Man's Choir, which I was in. I sang on that album. I was a part of Miami Man's Choir when we made that song. What God has for me is for me. It's basically what she said. And so they went from there. So that closed that book. Tara's not going to pursue the house, so she says right now. Then we see Grace meeting up with Aaron. So Grace still has a considerable amount of money. So Grace decides that she's going to get rid of all of this money, split it up between AJ and Sophia, and give them trust funds with this money, because she wants her own money, not the money from her dad, her real dad, I should say. And so then, y'all gonna give me this moment. Aaron mentioned Kevin. And let's talk writers, producers, those people in charge of the show, about how you ceremoniously Judy Winslow'd Kevin and his character. I need Ty White, who plays Kevin's character, to explain to me what happened. Did he get mad and leave? Did they get mad at him and tell him you can't come back? I want to know, because y'all not going to keep playing in my goddamn face. I'm so sick of the bullshit. Y'all ain't even Y'all ain't even do a good job of writing around Kevin's character. Y'all ain't even kill him off. Y'all ain't even have him fall off a building. Y'all ain't even have him be in a plane which crashed. Y'all ain't even have him trying to save somebody in the ocean and him drowning in the currents or something. Y'all ain't having him getting shot up by some bus down that he tried to hook up with at night or something like that. Y'all ain't have Aaron get mad at him in a fit of rage one night and they have an accident. He busts his head on the side of the counter and die or something. Give me something. But for you to just act like he ain't there, for you to not give us why Kevin's not around, and y'all better do better. Do better. Do Jesus and do him well. Do better. I was real upset about it. I am eternally upset with this show. I will forever be upset with this show for what they did with Kevin. Where's Kevin? Where's Kevin? Where the hell is Kevin? I keep asking, where's Kevin? You people keep not giving me where Kevin is. Y'all could explain. I'm not even saying y'all had to show Kevin on screen, but at least give us a thorough explanation as to why the fuck we ain't seen Kevin. Maybe he got burned in some horrible accident and he has 30-degree burns over 95% of his body, and y'all don't want to show those horrific images. I don't know. Have a stunt double that's bandaged up like Kevin or something like that, and say, yeah, he got burned over all his body, and that's why we can't see him. If y'all just don't want to show him, but don't just act like he ain't there. Don't Judy Winslow him, and then don't play in our faces by ceremoniously every now and again sprinkling a little nugget of, oh, Kevin's doing this. Oh, I spoke to Kevin about that. Bitch, you ain't speak to a goddamn person talking about you talking to Kevin about something we ain't seen Kevin in how many years now? Get your life in order, Greenleaf. Get your life in order. A mess. A damn mess. Just a damn mess. I'm sorry. Y'all had to give me that moment. Now that the series is over. Y'all had to give me that moment. I was real upset about that. Real upset. Anyway, moving on. Aaron tells Grace she needs to stop avoiding a call from the lady and give her an answer, because Grace tells him about the job. Jacob comes home and tells May that Tara says they can keep the house and everything, and that's that. They just tied that little bow real quick. I'm not going to keep harping on it. At Calvary on that Sunday, on the way into the church, Jacob sees Tara in the foyer. And Jacob, they seem once again to be real flirty. And he says, I'm surprised you're here. And she was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm here. I want to pay, my respects to the bishop and everything for his memorial. I wanted to be here. All of the, gospel stations been talking about this was going to be the place to be this Sunday. So I wanted to be here to witness it and everything. I told you. He thanks her for giving up the house, but I told you he's real flirty with her. Anyway, May preaches. The subject of the lesson is make me new. And I know people going to go up and say May was all this, but I told y'all a long time ago. I just don't see it for May as a preacher. It's just not that believable for me. So I didn't really go up for her like that. What took me out, I was almost taken out in the beginning, but I was not. But what took me out was when AJ answered the altar call and came to that good altar and the entirety of the family gathered around AJ. When I tell you, the spirit came down and I was in here shouting, get me one more good shout in here, honey. Baby, got me a good old shout in. Just weeping, laid out on the ground. They took me out. Now, AJ took me out. May ain't take me out. But AJ took me out. He took me out. I was, they had got me at that point. That was good. We see Sophia tells her mom while they're standing in the church, said, listen, your work here at Calvary is done. You've done what you needed to do here. Sophia tells her that. And then after that, after church, May goes to her mom and tells her mom, listen, I'm leaving. And her mom's like, no. She's like, yeah. Her mom, no, I need you. No, you don't. You go do what you need to do. The deacon board said they're going to have you as long as you want to come preach here and pastor here. But I'm leaving. And that was that. And so at the end, you see the family gathered as Grace is leaving. And we have the reverse of what we saw in the opening credits. Remember when we started season 1, it was Grace driving in with Sophia to the Greenleaf Estates with those big gates with the G on it. That's what we saw. And here we had, the ending where you see Grace leaving to have this interview in New York. And you know, Jacob telling her, make sure you look after Zora, who will be up there in a little bit. And she's leaving the Greenleaf Estates again, or in better terms. So they tied it all up in a bow. I think some of it was lazy and, you know, clunky at times, but it is what it is. And that was Greenleaf. It was a great series. All in all, it was a great series. If I had to rate the series on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd give it an 8. I'd give it a solid. Sometimes I lean toward the 7.5. Sometimes I lean toward the 8. So maybe 7.75. If I had to choose between 7.5 and the 7 and the 8, I probably would say 8. And maybe that's just because of the immediacy of the show ending. If you give me another month or two, I might say 7.5. But I thought it was a well written series at times. Still mad about Kevin. The actors were great. I do like the actors. The casting, the only problem I had with the casting, we talked about this last season, that they didn't give me more cute men on this show. I needed more cute men on this show. That's fine. I'm curious to see what happens with the spinoff. I did see that there's going to be a new show by the writers of Greenleaf, writers and producers of Greenleaf, called Delilah, and I'm excited to see what that's going to bring. And I hope that you've enjoyed my reviews of Greenleaf. You know, let me know in the comments what you thought about the series as a whole. Definitely, I want to know in the comment section how you felt about my reviews of Greenleaf. That's all I got for y'all on Greenleaf. I would say until next time, but there is no next time with Greenleaf. So great ride, and until the next show, that's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out.